Hello, I am going to walk through completing a payment request for grants that require a cost share or match. For more information, visit www.arts.gov under the Manage Your Award section of the website. You can find written instructions for this process when you log into Reach under the Payments tab. To begin the process, open your Payments tab and click Add Payment Request. This brings up the payment request form. As a reminder, payment requests should only include costs that were in your approved project budget. The first field is optional for grantee tracking purposes. If your organization has its own coding system for grants, you can enter the number here to help you track the payment when it is deposited in your bank account. Field number 2 is a drop-down where you select the type of payment request, partial or final. Select partial unless this will be your last payment request. Number 3 is also a drop-down for basis of request. Here you select the accounting method used by your organization, cash or accrued expenditures. Fields number 4 and 5 are the period covered by this request. These dates refer to the time frame during which the allowable costs were or will be spent. You should not enter your entire period of performance in these fields. In other words, when did you or will you spend the money? The starting date can be no earlier than the start date of your period of performance. The ending date will also fall within the period of performance, but will depend on the type of payment request you are making. If it is a reimbursement, the date will represent the end of the time frame during which the money was spent and will be no later than the date of submission. If it is an advance, or both a reimbursement and an advance, the date can be up to 30 calendar days following the submission date of the request. We cannot provide payment for expenses incurred beyond 30 days. This means that several payment requests may be necessary over the course of your period of performance. The frequency is up to you within the 30-day advance limitation. Field 6A is total program outlays and the as-of date. The total program outlays field refers to the total amount you have spent within the scope of your approved budget as of the date to the right. The as-of date can be the date of submission of the payment request or earlier, but it cannot be in the future. Please remember that payment requests are cumulative. So if you are requesting a reimbursement or a reimbursement along with an advance, the total program outlays should increase with each request submitted. Field 6B is the estimated net cash outlays needed for the advance period. If you would like an advance, please include that amount here. Make sure the request ending date is within the next 30 days and be certain that you will be able to spend the advance amount within the requested time frame. 6C is automatically calculated. 6D is the non-federal share of the amount on line C. This is your portion of the total project costs listed on 6C, also known as the cost share or match. 6E is the federal share of the amount on line C and calculates automatically. You will get an error if this amount is greater than the amount of your NEA grant. 6F is payment previously requested. Payment requests are cumulative, so this will be 0 for the first request and then increase with each following request. It is a common mistake for grantees to forget to include this amount. You can see the total approved requests amount listed in your Payments tab. Field 6G is the federal share now requested. This field also calculates automatically. It reflects the amount of money you will receive if the request is approved. If this is not the amount you intended to receive, please go back and check that all the other fields were completed correctly. Next is the progress report. This is required once your requests exceed 2/3 of the total NEA grant amount. For example, if the NEA grant is $30,000, you need to include a progress report once your requests exceed $20,000. The progress report should include a brief description of the grant-supported activities both that have occurred since the start of your period of performance and that are remaining for the rest of the period of performance. It should speak directly to the approved project and budget on file. The approved budget can be found in the Documents tab, and a summary of your project is in the Write-ups tab. Mentioning components outside the scope of the project as context, or referencing unallowable costs like receptions or galas, even if these expenses are not included in the request, will likely raise questions and slow the approval process. Pay attention to your REACH inbox in case a grant specialist follows up with questions or needs clarification. It would also be a good idea to monitor your spam or junk folders in case notifications from REACH end up there. The last step is to review and agree to the assurances and then click Submit Payment Request. You can track your payment request in REACH under the Payments tab. If a grant specialist rejects your payment request, they will send a message through REACH with an explanation and ways to correct it next time you submit. If the payment request is approved, you should see the funds in your account likely within 2 weeks of the listed approval date. If you have any other questions about this process, you can visit www.arts.gov and select Manage Your Award under the Grants tab, or contact grants@arts.gov for assistance. Thank you.